Hey, Team Courageous. It is Marcy with our third and final team call about the power of I am that I got to do with Chris Downing. And it is bittersweet because these last three chapters that I'm going to be talking to you about today are deep and powerful and amazing. But it's sad because, this is like the last one of the segment. And I just want you guys to know that you can revisit all of these calls and go through these steps over and over and over again, because honestly, sometimes it doesn't take 9 weeks to kind of finish all of this inner work. It takes more time. And so if you have to watch these over again and do the steps over again, then do it. And if you're on here and you haven't watched my first two videos, that's cool. Hang out with us, listen in. But I really encourage you guys to go back and watch those two videos. And if you're watching this recording, I would definitely say to stop and watch the first two first and complete those steps before diving into this. But just to recap, we talked about forgiving yourself and forgiving others, writing 2 letters to yourself, the negative thoughts that you have and where they come from, and the encouraging letter to yourself. The most powerful one of all, your I am statements, who you are emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, all of that good stuff, who you are, who you want to be, and who you're working towards. Knowledge is power when you apply it, expecting all the good things. And finally, the decluttering to remind ourselves of who we are working towards. So this first chapter is called Loving the New You and Getting to Know Yourself. And before I dive into this, I just want to say that when I started this, I knew that I needed it, but I honestly didn't realize how much I needed it and how hard and challenging it would be to go through it, because I had to uncover some deep stuff that I pushed away for so long. And when it finally comes to the surface, it's scary and you have to face it head on. And what I've learned through this is if you don't face the stuff that was holding you back, or things that you don't even know are holding you back, if you don't face them, then they will keep reappearing as you move forward. No matter how hard you try to move forward, that stuff will always come back until you are forced to deal with it and move on. So getting to know yourself. Okay, there's going to be a challenge in this one, and I love it. This is probably one of my favorite ones. And in the beginning, it was really scary and I hated it. But it was one of the ones that I loved the most. And I just want to ask you guys, how many of you really take the time to reflect on the changes that you've made? Really sit down and process it, not with your phone, and not when you're working and doing other things. Just really sit there and reflect on how far you have come. And even if you're just starting, just starting is a big deal, And most of us don't really do that. I know I didn't, unless I hit a big goal or a different rank. Then I'm okay, I sit back and reflect on all the hard work before quickly getting to work again. So it's just a split second that I'm really giving that time. But how much time do we give people that don't bring on the best in us, negative thoughts that we have on ourselves, convincing people of who we are or what we're trying to do and accomplish? And there's so many things that we give our attention to that we shouldn't. And instead, we should reflect on the good things that we are doing. And I want to give you guys an example and really dive into the New Year's resolution mindset. Okay, so when you hear, I'm pretty sure all of us have our own thoughts about New Year's resolutions. Okay, I'm going to tell you mine. New Year's resolutions are a fad. Plain and simple, they are a fad. People do them because everyone else is doing them. Do they do them to honestly have a change? No, they do it because they're chasing the fad. They're not chasing the mindset change. They're not chasing the lifestyle changes. They're chasing the fad. And that is the exact same reason why people quit after the first 15 days. And honestly, think about it. I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, like everyone did New Year's resolutions. It was like a big thing. Like everyone did them. And just stop and think about like nowadays. Like, do you hear anyone honestly making New Year's resolutions? Or do you hear about people like, oh, don't do them? There's like there's two types of people, okay? The people that stop because they're tired of failing and they're just accepting defeat. They don't want to deal with it anymore. It's too hard to like keep failing time and time again. Or there's the people that are like most of us, where they live their New Year's resolutions every damn day. It's called goals. Why set one goal a year because everyone else is doing it when you can set goals year long and crush them? That is what we do. We set goals and we crush them. That's like all day, all year resolutions over here, okay? And it's a beautiful thing when you do things that not everyone is doing, because we all know that you have to do what people are not willing to do to succeed, right? And that brings us to the challenge. Just remember that you have to do things that not everyone is willing to do. So your challenge for this week, seriously, I'm going to like check in on every single one of you and make sure you do it. You got to take yourself out on a damn date, okay? No kids, no spouse, no friends. And Corrine, I want you to unmute yourself and tell me, okay, if I asked you right now, tomorrow, take yourself on a date, like what would you do?
Oh, girl, it's pedicure time. You don't have to tell me twice.
I swear I did not talk to her before this, okay? Nope. I am going to say no to nails, no to hair. Okay, it cannot be a nail day. It cannot be a hair day because you will do that shit anyways. Okay, right? It's time to do things that you are not willing to do. What would you do, Nikki?
I'm going to a movie.
Yes. Okay, that is an option.
I'm getting popcorn and I'm going to sit there. I'm going to watch it by myself.
Yes. Yes, Nikki. Nikki has the right mentality. See? Okay, he said no nails, no hair, because we're going to do that anyways, okay? Here are your options straight from Chris's mouth. Movie was the first thing. So ding, ding, Nikki, you're on the right track. You're going to take yourself out either for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Go for a walk, go to a park. But if you go for a walk, it cannot be in your neighborhood because it's too familiar. You got to take yourself out of that comfort zone. And do things that you wouldn't normally do. Talk about getting out of your comfort zone. And here's the powerful part.
Look at Rachel's comment. Oh, that's so hard. That's what she said. Telling it to herself.
That is why we are on this team together, okay? So the powerful part is staying conscious in the fact that you are by yourself, okay? And I want you guys to be present and have fun. And this came from Chris's mouth himself, so we can't get in trouble for this. He said, eat whatever you want. And if it's in your means, get the most expensive thing on the damn menu. Treat yourself, okay? Get the big thing of popcorn because he's going to kick our ass afterwards. So it doesn't really matter from his mouth, seriously. He just said, like, let loose, have fun, and like enjoy your own company. Why is that so difficult, you know? And he said to take out a pen and paper or a notepad, take a notepad with you on your date and write down the emotions that you are feeling. Every single emotion, whether how silly you feel, how odd it is, uncomfortable, happy, like who knows how you're going to be feeling in that moment. Write it all down, okay? And just tell yourself consciously, like, this is right. Like, yeah, like I can do this because I am the most important person in my life. And I know that is like a super bold statement because we have kids and we have spouses and like we have family, but no, like You are the most important person in your life. Because if you can't take care of yourself, and unless we are bonded to who we are, we can't possibly take care of anyone else. So take it all in. And if you're afraid of being by yourself, it will definitely surface during this time, okay? Just feel it, feel the emotions and write them down. And be prepared to maybe realize some things that you didn't realize, like the fact that some people aren't running from bills and their problems and, you know, all the hard things. Sometimes we're just running from ourselves and the time to reflect on like who we are and where we're going and the things that we may not have accomplished yet or whatever. We're scared of that, you know? And if you're anything like me, like I like to be by myself because I'm an introvert, and like my me time is like time to like relax and reflect. But when I'm thinking of like going out, when I first heard this and I was first thinking about going out on myself by myself on a date, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I could feel how uncomfortable it would be. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, why? Why do I feel like that? Why? It can be because I don't know who I am, or because I'm nervous about what other people think. And honestly, that's pretty much it. Because if I were to go to somewhere by myself and there was no one there, I would have the time of my life. I would say that in a second. But because it's like crowded and there's people there and I'm like, what are they going to think? Like, and we could all say like, I really don't care what people think. But in the back, unconsciously, like we kind of do. So no matter where you are, whether you don't know yourself or you're scared of people's judgments, like we got to work through it. So this is a perfect way. And it's important to know that we are all so different. And we were all put here for a specific reason. And like we all have different handprints. Just look at your handprint. Like there's no one in this world that has the same handprint as you do. And that means that we were chosen to be put on this earth for a damn reason. And we may all have the same vibe, because we do. We're Team Courageous. And we may all have some of the same characteristics, but no one is like you. And no one has your story. And when we don't know who we are, we start conforming. And I know some of you will know what I'm talking about because we've all been there when we're younger and we don't truly know who we are. So when we're with this person, we act a certain way. And then when we're with this person, we act a certain way because we don't know who we are. And if you do that as a kid and you grow up and you still don't know who you are, you're going to have everyone else's identities except for your own. And that is a scary thing. So, sorry. Taking yourself on a date is probably one of the most powerful things that we can do because it gives us a sense of security, okay? It gives us a sense of security from being alone in that minute, in relying on ourselves for that minute, in that moment. And if you're going to succeed, you're going to have to learn one thing in this coaching business. If you want to succeed, you have to have self-love. And honestly, if you want to succeed in life in general, self-love. So why? Because we don't sell products. We don't, okay? What do so many people struggle with? Even ourselves. We struggle with insecurity, fear, lack of self-worth, fear, just worry, negativity, doubt, all these things. And what do we do as coaches? We help people find their confidence. We allow people to find their own self-empowerment. We give people hope. We are literally hope dealers, guys. It's a beautiful freaking thing, okay? So we should just let go of everything else and just sell that, because that is the true definition of what people are struggling with. So yes, we have this and we have that, and they're amazing products, but we give people freaking hope and empowerment and encouragement, and that is so damn beautiful. So we need to build our teams not on this and that, but self-love. Because when we do that and we learn how to truly love ourselves, we could teach this person to love themselves, and they can teach that person to love themselves. And yes, we can talk about like specifics on how to invite and how to share your story. But seriously, self-love is all you freaking need. Because if someone truly loves themselves and has worth, like finds worth within themselves, then they can do anything. They can take this business and they will figure it out. Right? Okay. If you thought that was deep, I'm gonna bring it home by talking about our second chapter called Accepting Change. And this is what to do when people in your life aren't accepting the new you. This one is heavy because it's easy when you're in the groove of things. Like you get started, you're feeling so good about yourself, you're experiencing all these new changes, you're feeling really good in the mirror and whatever. And then you start getting outside pressures. And it can raise like an inner conflict in you because you know that what you're doing is good. It's good for you. It's good for everyone else. You're helping people. But then you have people in your life that may not be as supportive as they should be, and may even be telling you things like you will never get anywhere with that, or you're not good enough, or that's a scam, and whatever. And it's important to know that that has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own insecurities within themselves. Because think about it, like think about your old you for a second, and like sometimes we would lash out at people because we were unhappy with ourselves. So when people are doing that to us, we have to take that into account and take it for what it is, and knowing that it's just about them. And every day we're going to wake up and we're going to be faced with a decision to either keep moving in this direction, keep working on ourselves and bettering ourselves, or revert back to the old us. Every single day we're going to have to make that decision. And your mind is going to start playing tricks on you. And it's going to tell you that shit was easier back then. And it's going to try to tell you that it was just easier because it's comfortable. And what do we always freaking say? What is the one thing you've heard a million times? Don't get into your comfort zone. Like nothing good ever freaking happens there. Get uncomfortable. Run away from comfortable, okay? The only time that you can be comfortable is in your bed at night, reflecting on the productive day that you've had, feeling like a badass because of all the freaking people that you've helped. Then you can be comfortable. But other than that, I want you guys to wake up and think, what can I do to get out of my comfort zone so I can grow and be the best person that I can be? And really, when it comes back to it, if you have that little moment of like, maybe I should go back, maybe this is too hard, you can't. And here's why, okay? Here's why you can't. Because we know who we are at this point, and we know that we were made for more. We know that we were here for a reason on this team. We were on this call for a reason. We wake up every day and constantly pour into people to help them. Do you think the old you would do that? Do you think the old you would take the time to sit on this call and have some goodness in your mind for a second from a crazy day? No. You wouldn't show up every day for yourself and other people if you were that old you. You're too far gone in the most beautiful way, okay? You're too far gone. You're different now, so you can't go back. Whew. Shoot, I'm feeling this in my soul, guys. Gosh. Okay. Yeah, we wouldn't be here. Plain and simple, we wouldn't be here if we didn't know that there's more for us in this. Okay. And I want you guys to really put your head down and get to work. And before you take that in a certain way, I'm not talking about inviting. I'm not just talking about diving into trainings. I'm talking about diving into work on yourself too. Not just talking about the program stuff and like the business stuff. Self-care, guys. Like we need to take care of ourselves. We need take time to reflect on who we are, where we're going. Because like we wake up every day and it's our jobs to take care of people and to pour into people, okay? And we deserve the same, if not more, amount of love, energy, and time and patience that we give everyone else. And I'm so sorry. I am so damn sorry if you've ever been through a moment where someone did not accept who you are and who you're trying to be, especially if they intentionally put you down about it, because that's not okay. And I've been there and I know how it feels. And I've learned that people who love you will want the best for you. And I truly, wholeheartedly believe that the people who are hesitant about your journey will come around once they see how happy you are and how fulfilled you are. They will come around. I truly believe that. And the people that do not deserve to stay in your life. And it's just plain and simple. It's the people that see how happy you are and still find it within themselves to degrade you and make you feel like you're not worthy and like you're not good enough, because deep down they're not ready to level up. And there's a difference between someone that is not supportive and just needs some time to get warmed up to the situation. And then there's a type of people that constantly are going to bring you down. And those people are called abusive and they're called miserable. And those people, you could just kick them out of your life because it's not worth it. I'm talking from experience, and that's it. And when you're going to hear negative words, you're going to hear them from yourself sometimes, you're going to hear them from other people. And I want you guys to go back and read your I am statements. And if you haven't done that yet, go and write them. Because this thing, I want you to read often, because it's going to remind you of why you are doing what you're doing. Okay. And it's going to keep you grounded. And when you're feeling down and when you're having a bad day, I want you to know that it's okay. And I want you to feel those emotions. And I don't want you to be consumed with them, because you know what's a beautiful thing? When you can feel emotions. Sorry. When you can deal with emotions and not have them consume us and have them be manageable, because we used to not be able to manage them. Okay. We have to, when you can look at something and know that it's temporary, when you used to think that it was permanent, like that is freaking growth. Like that is beautiful right there. That is like a reflection of how much you are growing. Okay. This is deep. I'm like shaking because, okay. So this is the last one. And it's week 9. It's the last week, and it's called the rearview mirror. Okay. And I want you guys to think about your rearview mirror and what you see. When I look in my mirror, I think of someone who was broken, insecure. I allowed people to mistreat me because I didn't have any self-worth. I was depressed often. I felt sorry for myself, and honestly, I was just unhealthy in every single sense of the word. And I also see someone who chose to leave behind a past of fear and betrayal and abuse and setbacks and hopelessness. I see someone who left all of that behind. And the beauty in it now is just like in a car, you can look back and glance at your mirror and see what's behind you while still moving forward. And we get to decide which direction that we're going. And how many people can honestly say that? How many people are stuck in a life that they are miserable in and can't seem to get a grasp of? Because that was me. Like, yes, I hated my life, but I felt literally stuck in it. And how many people are still there? It like literally breaks my heart to think about it. Like I have like a bump in my throat just thinking about it, because it sucks. And it's just a proof that this decision about bettering ourselves is helping other people. Like we chose to get strong and get better and get through our obstacles now, so we can help other people who resemble the old us. And when we think about it that way, we will never be afraid to share our stories. When you have so much conviction in your story and your growth, you just need to share it. You need to. You know how good you're feeling. And you want other people to do better. You want everyone to feel how amazing you feel. Like when you finish your first freaking program, you're like, oh my gosh, why isn't everyone doing this? I don't get it. Then you start spamming everyone because you're just so excited, and you're word vomiting because you're so excited. And it's like, please, everyone just do this. It's amazing. And when people are hurting, we feel it too, because we have been there. And it hurts to know that people are still in that mess. And we will all get to a point where we will stop and we'll say, look what I created, or look what I helped create. Like you're going to look back at all of the people that you are helping and have helped, and you're going to reflect on the fact that you gave people who couldn't love themselves that love. And you gave people that didn't have a family in us. And just the hope to move forward, and purpose, new purpose and passion in their lives, and a new identity. And it's powerful stuff. And we're all so blessed to be doing this. And the first thing that we need to do is say, I wouldn't change my past for anything, because our past and the things that we've been through have brought us to this moment. And the things that we are currently dealing with are meant to happen so that we can get to that next level. So no matter what you have been through or what you are going through right now, just know that it's for a greater purpose, and we need to accept it for what it is, because without that mess, our message wouldn't be as powerful as it is. And second, I want you to look in that rearview mirror and at everything you left behind, your old self, the people that you left behind, the thoughts, the negative thoughts, the words, how we treated ourselves back then. And I want you to look at where you are today. And granted, some of us aren't exactly where we want to be, but we are a hell of a lot better than what we were. And can you just imagine just thinking that, like, when you have your tough days, to remember that there's stepping stones and there's lessons to be learned. And every time that you overcome something, you are going to help someone else overcome that same thing. So, like, take the obstacles that you go through and know that they're put in your life for a reason, and you'll be able to help someone else with that. So you guys are going to take yourself on a date, okay? You're going to write down your emotions. You're going to know that other people's actions are not on you. And those who are meant to stay will stay. You're going to look at that mirror and reflect on everything that you left behind and where you are now. You're going to read your I am statement often. And after you've completed every single thing that I've talked about in all of these videos, I want you guys to write yourself another encouraging letter. And we should probably do this like every quarter, so every 3 months, write ourselves an encouraging letter, because why not? And why not reflect on them and see the changes in energy between them. Because can you imagine like the letter we would write today versus the letter that we'll write a year from now or 2 years from now? Like we think we're in such a good place now, or maybe not, but maybe we do, right? Some of us do. We're in a great place. But the growth that is ahead of us is so much more powerful than we even know. So yeah, that's the call tonight. I can't believe like I didn't totally cry my eyes out because I was wearing waterproof mascara, because as I was like saying these notes, I was bawling because there is heavy stuff. And I'm just so blessed to be able to do this. And this coaching and like this team has literally got me out of such dark places. And every time that I'm having a hard day, I can lean on the people on the team. And I never had that before. And it's just like a super powerful thing. And so thank you guys for being on the call tonight. And let me know if like you have any questions about the course or any questions about anything I've talked about tonight.